Good evening and welcome again to our channel as we go through this discussion how to be financially independent in marriage. It's not only for marriage couples, as I said, it's for everyone who wants to achieve success in his or her financial life. So we're going to present something briefly. We'll have a PowerPoint presentation and we also have an Excel presentation. With the Excel presentation, we will take you through how you can use the Excel document after the presentation to manage your personal finances. Okay, so we just want to see some few myths about marriage. The first part is all about marriage or how people can prepare for their marriages. Some few myths about marriage finance. Number one is that some people think it doesn't matter how much you have, it's all about love, and that is a myth. You've seen so many marriages collapsing on the basis of financial challenges, and we think that this is a myth that we need to debunk. Some people also believe that when Mr. A or Mr. B got married, they didn't have ABC. Their days are not our days, so we don't compare ourselves to our fathers who married and were just living somewhere. By the grace of God today, some of them have been able to navigate through life, but they will not tell us exactly what they did to be able to move from where they were to where they are today. They will just bridge the gap by saying it is just by the grace of God. So we don't use them as an example to say that they married and they were not even having a bed, but today they have a mansion. It is not just like that. So we need practical steps to be able to navigate through this life as young people, as marriage couples or intending couples. There are things we need to take note of. So because of time, this is not the main meat. This is just the introduction. Can people also think that marriage attracts God's blessing? So they just have to marry and they will receive the blessings from God. There is a partial truth about this. When you get married, you are more concerned about your family, so you can focus on yourself and be able to manage your finances well. It doesn't mean that automatically when you get married, God will just throw down the money from above. So that is also a myth for us to take note of and try our best to avoid. Okay. Another myth we need to also take note is that after marriage, some people think that their financial burden will reduce because they will be sharing their responsibility with their partner. That is also partly true. But in as much as you are sharing your responsibilities, your other party will also bring his or her personal responsibilities. So we are just starting with this myth for you to understand that there should be a conscious effort to manage your personal finances before you get married, or even if you're already married. It is not just a religious hope, a religious faith. Claim your financial blessing, then people claim it. No, whatever God has given you, if you apply the basic steps we will take you through shortly, you'll be able to, make maximum benefit from what you have than just to believe that things will change. And people believe that it will be better. Things will not be better if we don't put in a change or if we don't change the way we think and the way we do things. Before we proceed to the next section, we want to highlight some personal or family finance SWOTs. Personal or family finance SWOTs. The SWOTs means strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Okay, this is a business term and it's used by businesses to identify the strength of their businesses, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and their threats. But this can also be applied to our personal finance. As a personal individual or as a family man or a family woman, you can identify the strength of your family finances. You can identify the weaknesses, opportunities, and the threats. So strength are the things that are coming from within, the things you can control that can increase your earning capacity. Okay, so they are your strength. It depends on your personal characteristics, your qualifications, your choices. So strength are positive things you can control. Okay, you can control if you can write, and by way of writing, you are able to generate income out of your writing. That is your skill. That is your strength. And you can maximize your financial potential through your strength. Weaknesses are personal, internal factors, family-based factors that are able to take away money from your family. Okay, so personal characteristics like your choices, okay, your spending habits, things that you can also control, but those things are negative to your financial income or your financial capacity. Anything that is a weakness is able to take away money from your personal life. So that is also categorized under weaknesses. Opportunities are external factors that can increase your earning capacity. Opportunities will just arise for you to be able to generate more. Okay, you go and stay in a new place. One guy told me that he went to stay in a new place and most of the people were struggling to find water. So what he did was to build a borehole with a poly tank, and he started selling. And today, by the grace of God, he's making a lot from it. The entire locality, everyone is depending on his water. He has even created a business out of it. So that was an opportunity, but the opportunity was coming from the environment. The opportunity was an external factor. So anything outside your family, anything outside your personal life that is able to help you to increase your earning capacity is an opportunity. Then we have threats. So threats are also external factors, but the threats will take away money from you. The threat will increase your expenses. The threat will reduce your earning capacity. For example, when the e-levy was enacted and was passed as a law in Ghana, the e-levy was an external factor. You don't have control over your threats. You don't have control over the external factors, but these external factors are able to take away money from you or able to reduce your earning capacity. So all these four factors, we have examples. Some of the examples may pertain to your life. Okay, so for instance, strength can be financial planning skills, investment skills. As a young graduate, if you have no student loan, that is a strength because you will not pay anything. We've highlighted a number of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats pertaining to your personal life. We want to have more time to look at investment opportunities and also have time to go into our personal finance model in Excel. So that is why we are moving to the next stage. So the next stage, we will consider some basic financial options. So I want to highlight this: investment options for achieving financial independence in marriage or in personal life. One, there are three things you need to know as a young man or a young woman. You need to understand assets. You also need to understand liabilities. You also need the understanding on cash. So in the business school, the definition of assets and liabilities are different from the definition of the assets we are going to give you today. So for assets, don't think of any textbook definition. Asset is anything that can put money in your pocket, anything that can increase your earning capacity, anything that generates money to you is an asset. Liability is anything that takes away money from your pockets. That is the simplest definition you should take note of. It takes away money from your pocket, irrespective of the benefit you receive from it. So by this, your personal car can be a liability, even though you enjoy the luxury of it. But it could be a liability because it does not bring you money. Okay, then anything that is able to put money in your pocket becomes an asset. Okay, so the only luxury of an asset is the inflow of money it can bring. If that item can bring you money, if that item can generate money, it's an asset. So by defining these two parameters of life, assets and liabilities, you'll be able to sit down. Some people, just because of the friends they have, their friends are even an asset to them. For others, their friends are liabilities. So anytime they get close to that friend, anytime they get in contact with that friend, they know that they will not go back the same. They know that something will go out of their pockets. So you just need to identify all the activities and all the things that are around you and put them into two: assets and liabilities. For cash, everyone understands cash. Cash is money in hand or money at bank. Money that you can use easily. Okay, quick money, something that you can use to buy an asset or a liability or pay for a liability. So these two things, the asset and liabilities, are very important. So as a young graduate, as a young couple, before your marriage or even after your marriage, you look at all the things you are doing and you put them into two brackets. Is this an asset or is this a liability? Going for a vacation, when, for instance, you are renting and you know your rent is a liability. Your rent takes away money from your pocket every month or every year. So if you are paying 2,000 cedis, a year is 24,000. All right. How would you reduce this liability? So there should be steps in place to be able to take away all the liabilities you can replace. Okay, there should be steps to increase the assets you have in your life. When we graduated, one of my friends, he got a job right after school. Then quickly he bought, one of the vehicles, the Toyota Vitz for Uber. Then after some time, he was making money from his career. He was making money from his Uber car. After some time, he set up a cold store business and was also making money from the cold store business. Before he bought his personal car, he had 3 lines of income. He had a cold store business. The cold store was doing very well. As at 2016, 2017, he had about 10 employees, as much as I can remember. 10 employees, and he was paying them a minimum of 1,000 Ghana cedis. So if he was paying a minimum of 6,000 salaries a month, then it means that he was also making something out of it. Okay, this was a young graduate without a girlfriend, without, children, without anything. He was just focused on increasing his assets, And I don't know where he is in terms of the assets he has expanded. But what I know about him is that he is seen to be rich. When I was growing up, I used to ask myself that why are some people called rich? In my village, there was this rich family, known to be rich family. And anytime I was passing by their house, I asked myself, why are they called Isikafo? Why are they called Isikafo? Okay, they are called Isikafo in the entire community. And when I grew up, I realized that they were called Isikafo because they had assets. They had things that can generate revenue for them. They had the big stores in the community. The only big supermarket in the community was owned by them. They had the major cars, the only few cars in the community that took people to the market every day were owned by them. They had cars, they had the stores, they had the market. Even in the small market of the community, they had the vantage point of the market. So being rich or being wealthy or having financial freedom is not spiritual. It's not spiritual. If you can increase your assets, we'll go through types of assets very soon. But if you can increase your assets and you can reduce or manage your liabilities, you'll be able to take control of your financial life. You'll be able to take control of your financial life. So let's look at some basic assets or some strategies and measures to increase your assets or increase your income. There are 4 things to note how to increase your assets or increase your income generating power. You can make money by only selling a product or providing services. Even if you are very religious as I am, even if you pray as I do pray almost every time, you need to sell an asset or you need to sell a product or provide a service before somebody can give you money. Okay, of course, sometimes somebody can dash you money, but that is not sustainable. If you want a sustainable way of making wealth, even after receiving the blessings from our pastors, even after sowing the seed and believing that God is going to make a way, it will still come back to the product you are selling or the services you are providing. Anything is not sustainable. Anything outside this may not be sustainable. So 4 things to consider in increasing your wealth and to be financially independent. Number 1, you need to focus on income generating assets. That is number 1. Income generating assets. Number 2, value appreciating assets. Value appreciating assets. Number 3, money or capital market assets. Money or capital market asset. And number 4 is personal development. Personal development. Let's go to the first point. Income generating assets. For income generating assets, as I explained, assets and liabilities, there are things that can increase your earning capacity. Okay, so it's not just about a job. Of course, after school, you need a job. It could be, it could be a way of generating income to be able to achieve all these things. But you just need to understand that there are 4 ways of increasing your wealth. Number 1, income generating assets, an asset that can generate income. A shop for retail purpose, a vehicle for commercial purpose. As a young man, as a young couple, as a young woman, maybe your first vehicle shouldn't be used for your personal comforts. Okay, your first vehicle could be used for generating an asset or generating income. And that vehicle can generate additional income for you to buy another one. I once attended a program, and this is Bishop Titi Ofe, Pleasant Place Chapel. He was talking about financial independence. He said some time ago he was very poor, and then he came back to himself and he wrote down a statement. He said, "Poverty exit plan." Poverty exit plan. And his poverty exit plan was to exit poverty in 7 years. First, he asked himself, he was young, okay? So he asked himself that, how many years do I want to live in this life? And the answer was maybe 70 or 70 plus. So he was somewhere 20, let's say 25. So he said that if he was 20 and he wants to live for 70 years, then for him, he had 50 more years to live. Okay, and to have 50 more years to live, if he can spend 7 years out of the 50 years to plan his life in a way that he can exit poverty, he will enjoy 43 years afterwards. Okay, so I don't know how old you are, but assuming you will live for 70 years, 100 years, most people connected may live for the next 50 years. That means that if you can spend part of the 50 years to invest in income generating assets in the next 5 years, in the next 6 years, in the next 7 years, with that plan, you will be able to overcome, financial struggles. So income generating assets, an example is a retail shop, a vehicle, or any business that can generate income for you. Okay. The second point is value appreciating assets. For value appreciating assets, they are assets that increases in value, like a land, increases in value, like any property you can acquire along the line and believe that the property will appreciate or will increase in value because of inflation or because of the perception of people. For example, do you know that in Accra, from Adenta, Adenta to Dodoa is not a dual road. There is so much traffic on that road, and most people think that the place is not valuable. In 2024, from last month, the government has started expanding the road. So they are doing dual carriage road, 3 on both sides, three, about 6 lanes. By the end of that project, I want to tell you that the lands on that route will gain value. There will be so much value on dual land if you don't know. So things that increase the value of land, number one is accessibility. When they expand the road, everybody can just go to the place and come quickly. The value of such properties will increase. When there is a social amenity, like a stadium, like the Bonte Stadium around Amasamai, when there is a stadium or when you hear of any social amenity, an opportunity that over a short time. So if you have money, you look for assets in places that have them. Don't wait until everybody is going there. By then, people have taken the meat and you are just left with a bone. So when you go there today and land is 30,000, by the end of the road construction, land will double along that route. And there are so many other examples. This is just one example. Then we also have money or capital markets, which is not really, really strong in Africa, like fixed deposits or bonds or debts, T-bills. They are examples of money market. The capital market is like shares, buying shares, enjoying dividend from investment. It's not very strong in Africa, but then it's a way of also increasing your assets. The last point, that is what most people do in Africa, where I come from. But it's not out of place, but most people are not intentional about it because they don't see it as an asset. Personal development is a huge asset. Personal development can increase your earning capacity. As a young couple, ask yourself, when you got married, what was the level of your spouse? After 2 years, 3 years, has the level changed in terms of personal development? Some people are career people. And if you're a career person, see your career as an asset. Intentionally develop yourself. Intentionally fill all the gaps. So this involves investing in developing one's skills. Pay money to learn that skill that can get you to the next level to increase your earning capacity. Pay money to develop yourself. Pursue higher education in relevant field. Today, AI is becoming a big deal. It's already a big deal in Europe and America, but in Africa, it's growing. AI, that is the next level. How much of AI do you know? What can you use? What examples of AI tools do you know? And what value can you generate out of it? Pursue higher education in relevant field. Second point is that you take a professional certification in your field of study or a more market demanding area. If there is any professional qualification you lack, if you want to develop yourself as a profession, you can also spend additional money to develop yourself. And by the time you are done developing yourself, you'll be able to increase your earning capacity. So these are 4 areas to consider when you want to increase your earning capacity to have control over your finances. Before we move to the Excel presentation, the last point is steps to achieving financial independence, personally or in marriage. The first point is have a clear picture of how your marriage or how your life should be. Today I was asking myself that Or it is time to eat. And when I was asking myself that question, the reason why I was asking myself is that for the rich eats when it's time to eat. The poor or the average eats when they are hungry. That is what I learned. Growing up, we were never told that food is ready, lunch is ready. When you are hungry, you go to the kitchen and you eat. So that is where you want to be. I want to get to a point that I'm eating because it's time to eat. Breakfast is ready, lunch is ready, supper is ready, or dinner is ready. Okay? So you have a picture of where you want to be. Growing up, for instance, I was living in the same room with my siblings. Okay, one room, sleeping on the floor with a mat. When you watch Nigerian movies, what do you see? Okay, I watched Nigerian movies some time ago, and the small boy came from his room and greeted his mom, "Mom, good morning." And in my mind, I was asking myself, is it real that a small boy like this will have a whole room to himself? Yes. You may not have experienced it before, but it doesn't mean that you cannot achieve it. So have a clear picture. I want to get to a point that when I give birth, or even if I've given birth, after some time, my children will have their own rooms. This renting will stop. So that clear picture can define your next steps. So have a clear picture of how your home would be, how your personal life should be, and where you want to be in terms of this life. Second point is budgeting. And that is why we'll present a personal finance budgeting Excel model very soon. Budgeting is very important. Most people care less about how much they spend on data, how much they spend on credit, how much they spend on food, how much they spend on anything. Just because the salary is in, they just spend until they realize that the salary is getting exhausted. But if you have a plan, there are times you can earn a lot, but your spending habits will not change, because before the money comes from the Excel, you know that if you are using this model from beginning to the end of the year, unless you receive some unexpected income, you know exactly how much you earn from beginning to the end. And you have made budget for almost everything, except unexpected eventualities happen. Other than that, you will not spend because there is a bonus. Before the bonus, you have a fair idea of how much your bonus will be if you are a career person. Before the end of the year, you have a fair idea of your profits. So you are not just spending. Budgeting is very important, and we show you some of the importance and how you can do so. Then another point is to defer unnecessary luxury. Defer unnecessary luxury. Okay, one guy told me that, they saved money to get married, and after married, they had about 80,000, around 80,000 or 90,000, one of them. Then he called me that they want to go for vacation with their money in South Africa. And I said, "Oh, that's nice. Young couples, just enjoy yourself." But I asked some few questions, and he realized that they can defer that luxury. They can defer it because at that time they were paying, somewhere about 2,000 to 3,000 cedis in rent. But there was an opportunity close by. The person needed money. The person had posted, okay, on their street, half plot for sale, 75,000 Ghana cedis. Will you go for the honeymoon in Cape Town and spend the 80,000, or buy the half plot and enjoy, defer that luxury? In 2 to 3 years, they may have their own building, no rental payment. Then what next? They may have even earned extra. They may have even been promoted at their work. All the luxuries they want to enjoy, they can enjoy. So I told him that, of course, I'm younger than you, but if I were you, I would defer this luxury. I would defer this vacation and buy the land, 75,000. I will even have 5,000 in extra, or I'll have an excess of 5,000. I'll use the 5,000, take my wife to a nice place in Ghana and enjoy the 5,000. Okay, so that was just an advice. But the point here is saying that we should defer necessary or unnecessary luxury. Some of the luxuries are very necessary, but if they are necessary and we can defer, let's do our best. So the fourth point is that advanced skills, very, very important. We've seen that skill or personal development is an asset. So if you want to achieve financial independence in your life, in your marriage, learn a skill. Learn a skill. Getting a job is not enough. Getting a job that pays you 5,000 is not enough. Always try to get your salary in dollars. Try and just, convert it almost every year. Convert your salary to dollars and see whether you are increasing or not. Your company may increase your salary by 1,000 cedis, but if the exchange rates have depreciated, your salary might even be less than $200. So that is how personally I see whether my salary is increasing or not. The fact that they've increased salary at the end of the year doesn't mean that your value has increased. So you learn a skill. If you learn a skill, you may be in demand. Your company may not have any option but to promote you in order to retain you, or you can leave for a better salary elsewhere if you have a good skill. The fifth point is to save to invest. And people save money to enjoy themselves. Okay, so investment is very important because investment will increase your income. So if you are saving, you are not saving because you are going to buy a liability. You are not saving because you are going to buy Corolla and show your church ladies who have bounced you that you are there. No, 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 no. Okay, when I graduated after some years, I was still not driving. I was not driving, but I had cars. I was not driving, but I had cars. So the point here is that you save to invest. You save money. By the time you see me drive, it means that I can buy 10 of what I'm driving. It's not something that I have saved all my money to buy the car and drive myself. No. By the time I buy the car, of course, I drive now. By the time I bought the car, it was just a surplus. It was just the income from somewhere else. It is not something that you compile and save, boom, then you buy something that can not generate income to you. Okay, it may not make sense to many people. They may say that, oh, enjoy yourself. Just remember what Bishop Titi Ofei told me some time ago. If you have 50 years more to live on this earth, if you spend 5 years out of the 50 years to save and invest, at the end of the 5 years, the next 45 years will be enjoyable. Okay, so to be able to do point number 5, you need to take note of point number 6. Overcome societal pressure. TikTok pressure, Facebook pressure, church pressure. Even today in church, you go and you see the way your people are changing cars, changing clothes, changing things. If you have a plan, you will not be moved by the societal pressure. Never allow anyone to put pressure on you to marry when you are not ready. Never allow anybody to put pressure on you to buy a liability and think it's an asset. Remember the dream you have in point 1. Point 1, we said, have a clear vision. Okay, have a clear vision. So remember the dream and the clear vision you have. The clear vision you have and work towards it. Number 7, focus on income. The number of income, the sources, and the frequency of the income. I want to take this point again. Focus on multiple income. And in focusing on income, look at the income in terms of not the size, but in terms of the frequency. The number of times you can generate that income in a month or in a year. For some income, you will earn it every month. Okay, so if there's an opportunity to earn income every week, do so. If there is a way, there is an opportunity to earn income every day. Some people have vehicles and the drivers make sales every day. So they earn income every day. Some people take their sales from their businesses every week. So you put together your sources of income at different time intervals, okay, so that you don't get yourself stranded and go to your friends to borrow money and other things. No, your money is coming at the end of the month, money is coming at the end of the week, money is coming at the end of the day, and this can happen by a plan. It is possible. So once you believe it's possible, you now look for the opportunities that can help you to generate income daily, weekly, monthly, and annually. Number 8, not the least, avoid borrowing to spend, but love borrowing to expend, to invest. Avoid borrowing to spend, but enjoy borrowing to invest in good businesses or good opportunities. So some Christians, they just say that, oh, the Bible says that thou shalt not borrow, thou shalt not borrow, I will not borrow. No. This is not a joke. I know somebody who said he would never borrow because that is not the portion of a child of God. It is wrong. In 2 Kings chapter 4, Elisha told the woman to go and borrow vessels. A woman went to the man of God and said, my husband is dead and he owed money and the debtors are coming for me. What should I do? And the prophet said that, what do you have? She said she had a bottle of oil. A man of God told her to go and borrow vessels. Borrow vessels. So what we can learn from this is that the man of God did not tell the woman to go and borrow money, to go and pay the money her husband owed, but he told her to borrow vessels and pour the oil in the vessels. He knew that the oil will not cease as long as there were empty vessels because of the power of God. And that will help her to sell the oil, pay what the husband owed, pay the rent on the vessels, and get more money. So the lesson we can learn here is, if there is a viable business, a viable opportunity, calculated opportunity that makes sense, and you are working, and based on your salary level, you can comfortably secure a loan from a bank, and the bank will be deducting small from your salary. Please, don't be religious about things. Don't be religious at all. If your salary can earn you 200,000 loan and you are renting 3,000 Ghana cedis or 4,000 Ghana, that means that you are paying a lot in rent. Okay, you can borrow that money, because when you borrow and you buy the land in a vantage point or a very good place, by the time you are done paying the loan, the land will not, the cost of the land will be fixed because you have paid for it already. If you pay for a land for 50,000 and the bank is taking small from your salary, 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, by the end of the 5th year, you have the land, the place will be well developed, you can put up your own building, then you reduce the monthly or annual expenses you pay. Okay, so the point here is to avoid borrowing to spend. Don't borrow and buy a new clothes and attend your friend's wedding. That is not what we are talking about. Don't do that. Don't borrow for your wedding and borrow for honeymoon somewhere and come back and work and pay. No, it doesn't work like that. You only borrow when there is an opportunity to invest the amount you've borrowed. Number 1, ensure that you have continuous financial and tax education. On this platform, we have regular financial literacy. Sometimes we focus on businesses, sometimes we focus on families, sometimes we focus on students. Today, it's a general thing, but more towards family life or marriage. Okay, so consciously take note of tax education and tax regulations or financial literacy that can help you. Because, for instance, I told a friend that, do you know that there are certain businesses in Ghana, as a young man, if you are below 40 years, if you venture into those businesses, you have 5 years tax holiday. 5 years tax holiday because you are within 40 years. Government want to promote specific industries and entrepreneurship among young people. How many young people will file, their tax returns to the tax authority and say that I qualify for this tax holiday, so there is no tax? Lack of knowledge. So if you want to take advantage of our financial life as young people, young couples, continuous financial and tax education is very important. The final point is very religious, depending on your faith. Believe in tithing and practice it. Believe in giving to the things of God. Believe in charity. Believe in sharing, and it's very religious. So depending on your faith, if you don't have faith, it will not even work for you. So get proper knowledge about giving, proper knowledge about tithing, proper knowledge about investing, not just sowing a seed. We hear, man of God, go and sow a seed. If you give everything to them and you come back without investing anything, you might not increase your wealth. So believe in it, get proper education about it, practice it, and you would have financial success. So this is the first part of the presentation on how to be financially independent. We started by looking at our strength. You just assess your strength, okay, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then we looked at some steps in achieving financial independence. We also looked at investment opportunities, where we mentioned income generating assets, value appreciating assets, money or capital market, and personal development. So at this point, we want to move into the second phase of our seminar. So the second phase of our seminar is on a very important subject. Okay, 1 second, please. So the second phase will be on this personal financial plan. Okay, it's a document that can help you to assess your financial levels at various points in time. And it's very important we take note of how we can use